We made it, Vince, to the last, I think anyway, big blockbuster of the summer. All 4 months we've gone through, and this is it. This is probably the last big action film of the summer.
Game on, cocksuckers!
Yeah, I don't think there is anything else after this. I really don't think there's anything that big.
There's a few more films coming out this year. I mean, not this year.
What?
I don't know.
I think we were both anticipating this and waiting for this, and this would be...
So if you guys remember way back on our first KickAss review, you know what I thought of it. So this movie is an absolute instant classic.
I would have to give this movie the gold.
It was brand new, it was fresh, it was a different take on superheroes, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I thought it was one of the best superhero movies at the time that I had ever seen.
Me too. I mean, that's what I meant at the beginning of this review. I mean, this was the one movie that I think the both of us were really waiting for all summer.
Now, if you've been with us this whole time and you've seen all of our reviews for the last 4 months, you know, most of the films that came out right towards the beginning of the summer were great.
So what movie are we talking about here, Dave?
It would have to be the Furious 6, Vince! One after another.
The Boss!
Another after another.
Man of Steel, or Superman.
Another after another.
I thought it was fantastic. The acting was fantastic. The directing was fantastic. The movie was fantastic.
I have to say, Vince, this is probably the biggest disappointment for me all summer.
What, KickAss?
More disappointing to me than Pacific Rim. I was extremely disappointed in this movie. Well, let me explain it to you, Vince. The first movie had everything going for it. It had an original story, it had cool characters, and I mean, it was all original and cool and awesome. And now we get KickAss 2, where Hit Girl is in high school. And the first probably good 45, 50 minutes of this movie, nothing really happens.
Okay.
It just seemed like it just dragged on and on and on, showing them trying to live a normal life and trying to get in with the society and try to be regular people. And I didn't like any of that.
I totally disagree with that, because I think it picked up just fine. I think it picked up right where it needed to. Because, of course, she's in school now, and she's trying to live with the fact that she's Hit Girl, and she's trying to also be a normal person.
Boring.
Not only is she trying to transition with that, but KickAss himself is...
boring.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. I thought it was... None of that bothered me.
Nothing happens for the first 40 minutes of the movie because they gave the whole superhero thing up. And it's just like boring. No superhero stuff happening here. It's somebody going to high school and then him trying to fit in. And then, you know, him trying to get a girlfriend and, you know, her Hit Girl trying to fit in with the it crowd and, you know, putting makeup on and becoming a teenager. And it was just nothing happening.
I was not bored with it, not one little bit. I was totally interested. The only thing that really got me was Jim Carrey himself made such a huge deal out of this movie.
What's the point?
And it wasn't that big of a part.
Well, okay, first of all, Jim Carrey did not impress me in this movie.
Try to have fun.
I didn't like his character. I didn't like him at all. I thought he was just boring.
He's all against gun violence, and the gun he has isn't even loaded.
And I don't think this movie was anywhere, and I mean anywhere, around as violent as the first film was.
What's the party?
I found it pretty violent, or at least as violent as the first film.
And it's all CG blood, too. That's really really got me mad watching it. There's almost no real blood in the movie. It's almost all CG, everything.
No room for punks and soups.
Well, I've kind of gotten used to that because most of the movies that come out now is all that.
Well, Evil Dead wasn't. Evil Dead was all practical effects.
Like I said, I've gotten used to that because it's just the way of things now.
First film had a threat to it. You had these gangsters, and they were evil guys. I mean, they were kind of a little goofy, but at the same time, they were kind of guys that you wanted them to die. And in this one, of course, the son takes over.
Where do they get a load of me?
He was trying to be evil, and he wasn't quite there yet.
And I didn't like that at all.
Oh, take your tampon out, Dave.
I think when he went to go see his uncle, who was on screen all of, 5 minutes in the movie, was more threatening and more evil than he was in the entire film.
The only thing I didn't care for, was the very, very end.
Well, and truthfully, Vince, that was probably my favorite part of the whole film.
Did we watch the same movie, Dave?
Probably the last 15 to 20 minutes of the movie I really liked. That is when it really kicked into gear and it became kick-ass again.
I found it as entertaining as the first film. I don't think it was better than the first film.
Boring.
The bad guy in the film could have been a lot more evil.
Henceforth, I'll be known as the motherfucker.
You know, that would have helped, but at the same time, I don't think it was altogether all that bad.
Well, I liked some of the enemies. Mother Russia was amazing.
These two titans coming together and creating this situation where we think Hit Girl is this unstoppable force of nature, but she just ran into something that is going to stop her, and that's Mother Russia.
If she was in charge of the whole bad guy thing, it would have been a great movie.
Okay, here it comes.
Here it is.
Oh, go ahead.
It was a great summer. I mean, it was a fantastic summer, the beginning of it. The Fast and the Furious was amazing. Star Trek was amazing. Superman was amazing. I mean, it had all these great movies, one after another, and it's just like, at what point is it just going to see something that sucks? Well, this is it.
So what are you going to give it then, Dave?
Well, I'm going to give Kick-Ass 2 a very un-Kick-Ass 2.5 out of 5.
What an asshole.
I'm after that, I'm surprised you gave it that.
That's because the last 20 minutes of the movie rocked.
Well, I believe that the whole thing rocked. I liked the movie. I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it was better than the first film. I think the story picked up right where it needed to. I think everything went like it was supposed to. I just wish, yes, there was a stronger villain. And what can I say? I would have to give Kick-Ass 2 a 5 out of 5. They showed a trailer for Carrie before the movie started. I cannot wait to see her in Carrie. I absolutely cannot wait to see Chloe Moretz as Carrie.
Yeah, there's a dog on your balls.